Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa EVO. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. And today I am going to be checking out Assetto Corsa EVO version 2. No, not version 2, that is quite a way in the future. Version 0.2. This version brings with it a number of improvements to replay mode, apparently. 7 new cars, 2 new tracks, I think there are some optimizations available with the AI, basic AI, custom race weekends, some special events, better VR support apparently, triple screen support, and a number of other things under the bonnet. However, on top of all of that, it probably brings in the most important thing that needed to be brought in to Assetto Corsa EVO. And as you can see on the screen, we have open mode and career mode. So open mode is more like the original Assetto Corsa experience. Pick a car, pick a track, go for it. Career mode is more like what you are going to expect from something like Gran Turismo. License tests, build a car, buy a car, do races, build up some money, buy new cars, things like that. But beneath all of that, this is now offline, apart from the special events, which makes perfect sense because special events will rotate in and out. This is now offline, which means no more online issues, I hope, that I have certainly been plagued with, and a number of people were plagued with, as seen by various bug reports, numerous videos, just a lot of complaints about it. They heard, they fixed it. So, in today's video, I'm going to be trying out version 0.2, probably doing just some time trial hot lapping, maybe not some racing, but there are 3 or 4 cars in particular that I am keen to try out. So I'm going to try them, see what they're like. I know that the tire physics are not quite there yet. The force feedback is still decent for things like weight transfer, but this is more so going to just be what is the current state and does it lag? Does it jitter? What are the graphics like now? What are the frames like now? That sort of stuff. What I was trying at Donington Park, and I really am not keen on Circuit of the Americas. It's a decent track, but I would much rather have other tracks like Indianapolis, Daytona, Watkins Glen, those kind of tracks, more classic tracks. So I might not try that out, but certainly we'll be trying out some of the cars. So make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started and let's see what 0.2 is all about. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to be looking at this from the open mode, so you can just see if I just move that along. Open mode is what it now says on the screen. We have a car, but I should just be able to, if I get this correct, I should just be able to go to dealership and buy whatever cars we want. So I'm going to start by buying a few cars, selecting a few cars that I want to be driving around today. One of them is going to be the NSX-R, and I am going to see if there are other configurations available, because that would be interesting. So this one just has the single one. I can look at configuring it. Just the body color for the exterior. Weird flickering still on these materials. I'm not sure if that has something. In fact, all the reflections are flickering a little. I'm not sure if that is Assetto Corsa EVO or the graphics drivers for NVIDIA being bad, as they have been for quite some time. Gloss white with gloss white wheels. That would be, I mean, it's a decent setup. What other body colours can we have? We could have this blue. That does go with the wheels quite nicely. White wheels, blue. Black does not really work with this glossy finish. Metallic green, no. Is that a metallic colour? I don't think so. That's definitely a glossy colour. Championship white is glossy. Yellow goes well, but then we have the red seats. Can we change the seat colour? No. We can put some carbon fibre in though. Why not? We'll put some carbon fibre in. Can we change the wheels? Yes, we can. We can have the NA1 wheels or the NA2 slightly larger wheels. I think I'll take the NSX-R wheels. There we go. Okay. Let's take a look at... So if we cannot change the interior colour of the red seats, what's the difference between Championship White and Grand Prix White? Grand Prix White's a little whiter. Pearlescent, not bad. Silver... Honestly, the blue kind of works. I could always make an adjustment to this. So let's go ahead and do that. And press back and add to garage. Now we do have options of removing cars from the garage as well now, which you just saw, remove vehicle. Pretty neat. I suppose in career mode that would be something that you could do to sell vehicle. So let me, whilst I've got this car selected, let me just see if I can adjust the body colour a bit. A little bit more metallic sheen. Pearl, not quite there. This reminds me very much of Gran Turismo 5, where you used to collect the chrome colours and you used to put chrome colours on the cars. I used to do this just for specific cars. So I'd buy a specific variant of a car and put this chrome one on. Never to really race. It was terrible. I remember online multiplayer, you'd get a bunch of cars in chrome. But people used to trade the chrome colours. I do remember that. Which was pretty cool. But I'm not going to... This is a bit more of a callback to Gran Turismo 5, which... What was that? 2009? No, that was 5 Prologue. That's 2009. Can I give this less roughness? That makes it a very, very shiny car. And then very rough is not great. So I'd probably bump down the roughness a little. That's how we get the pearl effect. So definitely nothing there. More flakes. Sure. This is how we get the chrome effect. So I'd probably... Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Maybe darken the car up. No, it needs to be a bit more vibrant. Same. There we go. I was going to say, let's try and keep it around the same level. Brighten it up just a bit. I do tend to have a lot of blue cars. Blue cars and red cars. Okay. Applying does take a few seconds. I have noticed that. Now we can go to the dealership and purchase another car. Let's have a look at the new MX-5. 2 versions available. And that's not really 2 versions, that's 3 versions, but okay. Oh no, wait, we have the 2 NA facelifts, and then we have the Uranus RS Limited, which is nice. It comes with a roll cage. I mean, I could see that. Let's configure that and see what options we have. We have a body colour. Okay. I wonder if the other one has more options. This really does not have much. Yes, we need to put wood trim in. Yep, there we go. We've got wood trim. That's not quite the trim colour I was looking for. Oh, the red is nice. The tan colour is even nicer. It's very 90s. It's very, very 90s. Wheels. Just the BBS alloys. Parts. Okay. Okay. Do we want a Momo steering wheel? Yes or no? Do we want the rear spoiler? Oh, this is great. That's interesting. Wooden steering wheel. put it on some Bilsteins, 20mm or 30mm with the anti-roll bar. An engine. We could change the engine. We could change the roll bar itself. Hang on a minute. Does that mean... This is bicolor interior, so does that... Ooh. Hello. That looks interesting. Does that mean... No, this one still only has body color here. But I can change the leather seat color to tan. Oh, but I cannot change the interior to tan. Only the seat colors. Well, that's a bit rubbish. Whereas this one, I assume I'll be able to change interior color to tan. Oh, that looks quite good. That does look quite good. Just giving it a bit more of a 90s feel. Let's go ahead and paint the car. What color would go well with tan? Purple. A purple would go... That purple goes okay-ish. I would need a brighter purple than that. That's okay. Wheels. Now we've got some options. Do we want 14-inch 7-spoke alloys? Wow. Do we want this one or the M2 design? Do we want steelies? Wait, is that actually a steely? It is. Oh, it would be so nice if I could put a wheel cap on that. That would be really, really cool. Then we've got the 15-inch BBS wheel, and we've got the 14-inch BBS wheel. I think this one would look quite nice. Then we could do wheel color, alloy or chrome plated. Interesting. And then we have the parts. Okay, so do I want Recaros in it? Recaros make it black. No. Do I want the rear spoiler? Yes, actually. It looks really bad. Do I want the side skirts? Yes. Do I want the roll bar? No. Do I want the front lip? Sure, let's put a chin spoiler on it. Do I want the decals? No. Do I want the mud flaps? Yes, that gives it a bit of a flare. Do I want the Nardi wooden kit? No. Do I want the leather kit? I mean, it's a decent wheel. I do prefer that one. It doesn't really... that looks more BMW, though, to me. I'll put a diff. Do I want an open diff? Do I want a Torsen diff? Drop the car a little. This is like Need for Speed now. 1.8 RS engine with a 5-gear gearbox. That is my car. It's the wrong colour for what I want it to be, but that is my car. Not bad. I'll go ahead and apply that and actually add that to the garage. Might give that a whirl. I shall have to see. Okay, what other cars do we have available to us? So I've bought an NSX, bought the NSX, bought the MX-5 NA. There are the Alphas. This one, I think only 500 of these were made. This is a new car. This is a new car. I might take out the Alphas in a different video. The third car, there is this. So the Emira is a reasonable car. But this is special. This is a very special car. And I want to see if I can get this car to be configured to my exacting standards. This is one of the best cars I have ever driven in the original Assetto Corsa. And if I had the money, this would be a car that I would potentially buy. Engine cover in glossy carbon fibre. Where's the glossy carbon fibre? Ah, yes, I see it. Please do. body colour, there is only one colour for this, and that is British Racing Green. Well, actually, there's two colours. You could have it in Racing Green. What's the flakes like on that? Probably will add more flakes to it. Oh, that is a choice. Do I want British Racing Green, which is slightly more darker, deeper colour with a little bit more blue in it, or a bit more green? Or do I want to go violent and vivid green? Kawasaki green? This is not a Kawasaki. Now, British Racing Green it is. I'll probably turn that into metallic. Interior, we can change the stitching colour to red. No, white works better for this car. The other one has more options, that's for sure. Painted wheels or diamond cuts wheels? Well, that's fine. Sparco P3. Wait, I can open this up. How do I do that again? Animations. Open up the door, please, so I can have a look inside. Sparco wheel. Oh, that is nice. Sure. Carbon fibre skirts. Yes, please. A carbon fibre diffuser. I'm turning this into a very, very race-oriented car, but do not mind if I do. Carbon fibre, so you've got the canards at the front, and the motorsport kit. What's the exhaust kit? Oh, it's an exhaust. I've just noticed how the exhaust changes. Yes, please. With the Union flag on the side, not a jack, because we're not flying it at sea. It's a flag. And the Lotus writing on top. It is a shame that I cannot change the brake calipers to match. Well, there isn't really much yellow in this, is there? But to match the yellow of the Lotus, like I did on the Emira in the last video. Okay, well, here we are. And this is what we've got. So let me see if these cause problems now. No, surprisingly, this is all quite smooth now. So that is that car, and I think these shall be the 3 cars I shall try out. Let's go ahead and confirm that, add that to the garage, and we'll see what they are like. So I'll customize this first before we go out on track. I know I've spent about 15-20 minutes doing this, but it's nice to see some of the new cars and the options we have. I would like to change this to a bit more metallic. Perfect. I wonder what the chrome would look like with this. Terrible. Metallic is what I want. Yes, that works quite nicely. Thank you. Again, shame about the brake calipers. Could I paint these? Let me have a look at what the painted ones would. It does look a bit more, I don't know, they do look a little bit more aggressive with the painted colours. I'm just trying to see if I can do the Lotus yellow with the more gold painted rims. So I'm just looking at that Lotus, those Lotus colours there, and seeing if this is going to look the part in the slightest, which it may not. I'll apply that, and then I'm going to try and change the finish of this. Chrome. Chrome is not the option here. Not sure what clear chrome is. I think metallic is the best option. Does it look okay with the red calipers? Truthfully, maybe not, but I'm going to try anyway. If only you could change the colour of those calipers. Still, could be worse, right? That is, it doesn't look terrible. one last check is, what do black wheels look like? No, black just does not work for this. It has to be either silvery in colour, or that gold colour that I have selected. Yes, I think that will have to do. Good. Let's go ahead and pick the Mazda. I did say I wanted to try to darken up this purple a little. Maybe just turning it into metallic. No, that doesn't work. Whatever their custom discard. I think there needs to be a slightly easier way to go back unless I'm missing it. Let's go to body colour. That purple custom. There we go. That is looking a bit more. Yes, that is looking a bit better. Now, we pick the wheels. So I've picked the 14-inch. Can I change it to the 15-inch BBS ones? No, I think the 14-inch just look better. The wheel colour needs to be brighter. There we are. That is looking much, much nicer. There aren't any other crazy colours I could go for. Black does not work with this. I just think the standard chrome-plated wheels. There we go. I'll apply that, and those are the three cars that I'm going to drive. I picked three. Oh, there was one other car I wanted to buy. I need to buy one other car, but I'm also going to remove the Fiat. Because why not? Dealership. I wanted to try the Porsche. This Porsche. There it is. So we've got the single tone interior one. We have the contrast interior one, which just changes. It looks like it changes the dashboard and then contrasts against that, which again with the tan looks quite good. Then we have the power package. And then we have this one. It looks like this is a North American car because it's got this lip. I feel like that rubber is a North American thing. Paint looks excellent. Paint truly looks excellent. Let's go ahead and pick the single tone interior one and configure it and see what sort of configuration we have. Parts wise, we have the power package and the front splitter. Well, I suppose I might as well get the. Might as well just get the power package at this point with the single tone interior. That is effectively those parts. Right. What kind of leather colours can we have? Oh, that's unfortunate. Would have been nice to, again, because of what it's like, to have the tan colour. Oh well, let's find a decent body colour for this. A dark colour or a bright colour? Who wants hot pink? Let's not. That is not great. I remember having I had a toy of this. Was it this Porsche or was it the next model up? I think it was this model. A little corgi toy of this. No, it was the next model up because it didn't have the rear wing was not like this. I say wing, spoiler, was not like this. So it was the next model up that I had. And it was in this colour. So I'm going to choose this colour. Wheels, polished, sure, apply. I need to change that interior to tan because that is what the interior of my Porsche was. So I'm going to do that, add that to the garage, and hopefully find something that has the tan colour. Interior, seat piping and contrast colour. Sure. Oh, I cannot change it to tan. Oh, that's ruined my whole day. Not really, but still. Yes, I do like the metallic paint, although I think at this point the custom paints was perhaps a little better. Okay, well, I'm going to leave this stock then. Just leave it just like this. Some weird things going on with the lighting. I've just noticed the lights are actually switching off. That's interesting. Why are they switching off? Is that a weird ray tracing thing? I'm not entirely certain. Well, anyway, that is now done. So I suppose it's time to take these cars on track, and that was a much smoother experience than it was before. I should point out that I was having a look at the gameplay settings, making sure my graphics were right, making sure my controls were still around, and I have had to drop a few things. So two things that I had to drop on a test was experimental static level of detail, because this was a massive performance hog, it seemed, and experimental sim shadows. Now, I'm not sure which one of these was the bigger performance hog. I think it might have been sim shadows, but for now I'm keeping all of this a bit lower. I think I've had to drop the settings on all of this just a little bit, because whatever updates they've done, I think has made it a little bit more intensive graphically. So just bear that in mind. I would recommend switching those two experimental ones off, unless you've got like a 5080 or a 7900 XTX or something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and go to single player, Donington Park, which is what I've already selected. Morning. Should we take the Porsche out first? No. I want to take the Lotus out first. Yes, we'll take the Lotus out first. Early morning, sure. Broken clouds, sure, that works. Start session. Okay, that only took a few seconds. I was going to have a cut whilst it was all loading, but that was pretty fast. Let's go ahead and drive and see what this is like. Do I remember my controls? Hopefully I do, because I double checked them. Engine, ignition, engine. Decent sound. Definitely a decent sound. Right, well, I guess I should start moving. Now, I know the clutch is better. Oh, actually, traction control off immediately. And stalled. And stalled again. Oh, because it's in gear. Interesting. So this is a good test of how the clutch is working in this. It's not quite on off, but it's very hard to tell. The other thing I really want is I want that in miles per hour. Yes, I would much prefer that in miles per hour as opposed to kilometers per hour. Maybe I'll just switch on some lights just for it to look a bit fancier. And let's just drive. I'm going to drive the car gently for a lap, getting used to Donington. And honestly, good confidence to start with. Still, I can feel the rumble strips. Weight transfer is something I can feel. There's a bit of feedback in the road, or a fair amount of feedback in the road. Tyres do feel a little bit, what would the right word be for it? I know they haven't improved the tyre model. It feels a little bit plasticky as opposed to rubbery, I think might be the best way to describe this. That is not, it isn't bad, but it isn't, obviously there are a lot of improvements that can be made. What I feel like I'm feeling for the most part through this is suspension travel. That is what I think I'm feeling through the force feedback, not really things like tyre grip or anything like that. I'm not sure I'm really feeling much in the way of tyre grip or anything. Obviously there is some of that, but this is just my observations. Could be woefully wrong. As soon as I can get track IR working on this, I think I should. But let's start giving this a bit of a push. So I know Donington Park fairly well. Not that I've ever driven around it, but it is one of a few tracks that I have been to. I've seen motorbike racing here in the past, and another track being Silverstone that I've been to. So I know the track, and I know the track really well through the mods in Assetto Corsa as well as racing it in previous titles, previous games. I think it was a Formula 1 game that had Donington that I used to race it in. It's one of the really old Formula 1 games. I'm pretty sure it had Murray Walker commentating on it. It wasn't Championship Edition that had Donington, don't think. Donington was also in Grid, I think. I think it was in Grid, the original Grid, that is. So I've definitely played that in there. So I know the track fairly well. In terms of frame rates, there is, even with my slightly or somewhat lowered settings, I'm definitely experiencing very tiny micro stutters. So that is something that might need to be maybe something you can bear in mind. I like the fact that we have a time delta now, which is really, really handy. That's one of the best things about hot slapping, is when you actually have one of those deltas available to you. Oh, okay, well that's caused me issues, but I should be able to recover that. There we go. Warning, those poles are collidable objects in the Assetto Corsa EVO. Excellent. Just need to be a lot more careful. There is still something lacking in the feeling, but honestly, the way I can feel the weight transfer, and I said this since I think the first time I played Assetto Corsa EVO, the first video I made. This is what, video 7, I think. The first video I made of Assetto Corsa EVO, I said immediately the way I can feel the weight transfer is something I've never felt before in any other title. And I can still feel it, and it's really good. So I hope that with tyre updates and the like, it gives us a lot more. Yes, I hope that it gives a lot more use, a lot more feedback, and a much, perhaps a very exclusive feeling. I know all different sims, they all drive slightly differently, and they have their pluses and their positives, negatives, their plus and minus, but I think that I wasn't off track, was I? I think that Assetto Corsa EVO has an opportunity here to do something pretty good. Oh, the cone got all the way out there. Or the bollard, not the cone. Do not hit that one. One thing that I would really like this title to bring in is I would very much like to be able to swap what side of the car I'm sitting on, which I do not think would be difficult. Obviously in the real world it can be difficult because of steering linkages and pedal linkages, but in Assetto Corsa it should not really be a problem. You can just do a bit of mirroring and a tiny amount of adjustments through that. So that would be an excellent thing to bring in. I believe modding support has been bumped up a little on their list. Oh dear. I was trying to brake a little bit later and I think I hit the brakes just slightly too late. I braked too late. Modding support has been bumped up the list, whilst the free roam bit I think has been bumped down, but honestly I think it is okay. Early access is a living, breathing thing in a sense, because there is so much that needs to be done and plans will change, and as long as they are clear about it and take on board the feedback that customers are giving them, which they did with this setup and with this update, of course. So I think that is really important. As long as they do that, I think we should be patient, and oh dear, as a community we should be patient and supportive, and let Kunos build what could become one of the most, it could become the ultimate simulator on PC. I'm not going to say it's going to be the best at absolutely everything, of course not. You'd have to have the best of Assetto Corsa Competizione, the best of Assetto Corsa, the best of iRacing, the best of Gran Turismo. It is going to be difficult, and I certainly think one of the things that they will never be able to match will be Gran Turismo's license system. I think that will be unmatchable, but if they can get even some parts way through that, Gran Turismo's on PlayStation, this is on PC, maybe it will incentivize Sony and Polyphony Digital to try and put Gran Turismo on PC. Yeah, right, but you know, it might. You never know. I think that's enough of that. 143.1. I know it hasn't counted that, but let's go ahead and have a look at this replay. So, car looks great. So we have some options here. What do we have? Forward and reverse 5 seconds. We can scrub. Yep, we can scrub. Cannot change camera. That's just vehicle. No camera changing options, although that was a nice camera. Yep, we have speed. Oh, that's quite nice to be able to do that. And then what's this? Reverse. Okay. So that should allow the opportunity to take some better screenshots, I think. So you find a screenshot, you go back and you take it. For example, this one coming up right now, if I slow this down to 125 and take the screenshot there, that's not a bad screenshot. That could be a thumbnail. Interesting. Now the next question is, does it have the no, because that's a very different screen. I did not see that one before, or on the previous lap. So that is different. There it comes. Here comes the car. Go away, go away, go away. There we go. Stay in, stay in, stay in. Ooh, there's some weird... just seen some very weird movement on the physics. Interesting. Very interesting. This could be a way to determine what certain cars are doing. And that would... maybe... So is every lap exact? I don't think every lap is the same camera. In fact, I think if you go back and forth, the camera might change as well. So I know I'm scrubbing around a bit. Yes, I think it does. No, it's the same camera again. Never mind. It's not bad. This isn't bad at all. Basic replay controls. And then, of course, the opportunity to save that replay. Okay, well, let's go back and we'll go pick a different car. Let's go to a different track. Donington was Great. Let's go Japanese car, Suzuka. Let's do that, and let's take out... Oh, what car should we take out? Let's start with the MX-5. Start with the MX-5 and give it some scattered clouds. Early morning, perhaps a little bit early in the morning. I have no idea what date this is on, so this 7:30 could be sun is up, nice and high, or it could be the sun is just starting to rise. Clearly in the UK that was already, sun was up. In this case the sun has been up for some time, it seems. Let's see if the clutch is any different on this. So this is more of a road going car. It should have a softer clutch, whereas the Lotus was more of a track focused car. So let's see if I can move this car a little bit better. I can. Okay. That is interesting to know. I've also noticed I cannot put, once the lights come up, they do not go down again. I've just switched it off, and I cannot, the lights are not going down. So I've just been distracted by something. Yes, I know the track has been cut. Wiper movement. I'm just watching the wipers move. Well, might as well switch the headlamps on. I'll put the beams on, so maybe it'll look a little bit better. There's the Nardi wheel, which does work. I think I've seen an MX-5 with this in real life with this wheel. I think this is better than the wooden one. Okay, this is a bit of a slow car, but it isn't bad. It's an MX-5. It cannot be bad. What was that came up? That looked like a handbrake warning. Is that ABS? That must be ABS. Okay, this is starting to feel more like a real car with the clutch. I'm able to heel toe really easily. I can have, so if I wanted to, I could do really quick clutch movements. And yep, that would be, you can hear it drop really quickly as the clutch disengages and quickly re-engages, or as I'll do out of spoon, going into fourth, I can do it really smoothly, or lose control of the car. Body roll, I can go through the gears really smoothly, and it responds, unlike Assetto Corsa. Or I can even make a mistake. For example, I could let it drop too far, and then sort of what you would do if you were potentially a learner trying to learn how to drive a vehicle. Can I get through that gap? Almost. I'll just do this. That's fine. Let's push this car just a touch as well. It does feel really quite good. Question, I wonder if I indicate, will it move the stalk? Oh no, but the light does come on. We have the indicator lamp, the interior lamp come on, which is nice. This car is so tail happy. It's excellent. The only problem is I'm not confident. It's a very, when it does go, it's very gentle on its movements, which is really nice, but I'm still not entirely comfortable with how Assetto Corsa feels. to really be able to try and throw the car around a bit more and understand that I'm going to be able to catch it. The birds are still around, which is really annoying. Over the bumps. This is a good car. This is a really good car. Okay. So I've had half an hour purchasing vehicles, and we're now experiencing, well, playing around with these vehicles and throwing them around. I do like how the cars are, the clutch especially, is individualized to the car. So I was struggling with the Lotus to get it moving at first because the clutch is so sensitive. It's more, that clutch felt more snappy than even my, come on, nope. Not enough power to do that. That clutch felt even more snappy than my real life car, which makes sense given how much power that has. But my real life car, it's very, the clutch is, the bite is very sharp. So when it bites, it just bites. So it's very easy to stall my car in the real world. But one thing that I've noticed is that I could not get that car moving just on the clutch, which you should be able to do. In fact, even this car, I should be able to move it just on the clutch. I'm going to try that, at least in first. So I'm just going to put this in first and very slowly try to move it off on the clutch. No, it just stalls. I do not think that is, it should drop below, which it is just a bit there, but not stall. It does idle a little high. I'm just looking at that. The car is idling just a little high. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the replay for this, and then we'll go and have a look at a different car. So we'll play that. There it is with the pop-up headlamps. I think the purple works. Purple and tan does work. The person sitting inside looks wholly uncomfortable. I will say that. That was a terrible camera angle. It does, oh, that's a really good camera angle. Oh, it's gone. There are multiple types of camera angles. Okay. And now I'm getting a completely different one again. So I've got to try and find that camera angle. How am I going to do that? Actually, that's a good camera angle too, but... And now I do not get it. Okay, so we do need to try and figure out how to select specific camera angles. That would be really nice. Of course, once the photo mode arrives, it should look great anyway. So which camera angle is it going to give me? That one where I'm indicating. This one is not great. Bit of a slide maybe. Some sliding. It is a nice car. Not a lot of power, but quite interesting to drive. Lots of body roll, and you can feel that body roll. So that is nice. It does respond really well to that body roll. None of these pictures are, or none of these are particularly. There's a bit of a slide. Particularly standing out as opportune moments for a screenshot. As I said, once photo mode comes out, this will be so much easier. And if they can give us a... Oh, that was almost perfect. If they can give us a photo mode similar to what has been provided by Ilya in Assetto Corsa for the mods, with his custom shaders patch and the like, if Kunos can give us a photo mode just like that, then that will be pretty good. Okay, I cannot see an opportunity for a screenshot, so I'm just going to save that. And let's go pick a different car for the next few minutes. Next car, let's go for the NSX. Sure, let's do this, and let's take that at... Let's also take this at Suzuka, but let's change the time of day. Let's have this at really early hours of the morning. 5 a.m. That's not really early hours of the morning, but 5 a.m. Why not? Start the session. Let's see what this is like. I'm expecting this car to be quite slidey, actually. Here we go. Let's go and try this out. I think the sun is... Oops, just knocked my microphone. I think the sun is just coming up. So let's go ahead and see what this is like. Lights around the circuit are still on. Traction control is off, with which you can see with the green marking. This car is very direct, and actually quite powerful. So I have done a brief test of all these cars already. That's what I'm driving. Actually, the Mazda, the MX-5 I had not, but the NSX I had, and this NSX, that is, and the Lotus, just to make sure they're actually working and not bugged. I think I've done a little bit in the Porsche as well. This car feels really good. The throttle response on it is immediate as well. Brakes are a little bit spongy, I would say. And there is a tendency for it to spin its rear tyres. Of course, that is just as par for the course. I've switched off traction control, it has plenty of power, doesn't have exactly the widest rear tyres in the world, so be prepared for some sort of sliding. But overall, it does feel quite good. See, as I'm getting to the limit of the grip, I am missing any feel of tyre scrubbing. So I think that is something on the force feedback that needs to come in. And of course, we are off the dial already when it comes to the speedometer. Very typical Japanese thing. Yep, definitely spongy brakes. Definitely spongy brakes. Driving on the right side of the road as well, right side of the car for me, which is lovely. Did see the birds, the 4 frame per second, I don't think it was 4 frame, maybe 10 frame per second birds. They need to go. They really do need to go. There's some flickering in the background that I'm noticing. Again, that flickering could be either indicative of something that is not quite correct in Assetto Corsa, or that could be indicative of NVIDIA drivers being stupid again, as they have been for quite some time now, causing a whole raft of issues with various different graphics cards. So I really don't know which one of those it is, but I'm just going to try to ignore it for now. There's those birds again. Surely there was an option in the graphics, disable birds. Disable birds of destruction. Disable angry birds? No? Yes, okay, at the limit of grip, and you can really feel it on this car because of the smaller tyres. At the limit of grip, you really cannot feel the car going. The only thing you feel is perhaps the tyre direction and the weight transfer. Oh, and a bit of the... Obviously you can feel the road. But anything towards the limits, I think that is where the tyre model update, whenever that is in, probably version 0.3, will be very, very useful. In my personal opinion, that is. Maybe somebody else will say, no, the tyres feel absolutely great. I do not think so. I think the weight transfer feels great, the force feedback feels decent, the tyres seem a little off. Now that I've played this more, I think right at the beginning I said the tyres felt great in the first episode that I did of this, but as I started playing a bit more of it, I realised it wasn't the tyres that felt great, it was just it was the feedback that I was getting through the feedback that I was getting from weight transfer and things like that. Oh dear. I sort of want to keep driving until the sun rises, but that would make this video another 10-15 minutes longer than its need be. So I probably shan't do that. Let's just finish off this lap. And do let me know in the comments if you see the flickering, if you go back a few seconds and see the flickering from the sky at the end of, if you just look towards the horizon, whilst I'm going down the front straight, whether or not you see that flickering from the sky would be very interesting to note. That Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps sign is confusing me. Definitely confusing me. We are very, very far away from Spa. At a much newer circuit, of course, legendary circuit, as Suzuka is, but a much newer one comparatively to Spa, much older than most of the circuits that or a lot of the circuits that we now see in Formula 1, but that is a debate for a different time, for something completely different, and this is not pertinent to what I'm doing right now. But those birds are really annoying. Here we go. Oh, okay. I think it's more at the extremes where you start feeling some of the tyre issues. And of course, if you're going to be pushing the car, you are going to be at the extremes more often than not. Too many birds. Sun's coming up, and I'm so tempted to keep going, but I shan't. This will be the last lap. Try and actually keep the car in. No. So coming out of Casio Triangle, the car does want to rotate. Of course, the transfer of weight right to left and then trying to get back on power is different. Right, let's go ahead and slam on the brakes. All the ABS. These brakes are so spongy. There we go. And let's have a quick look at the replay before finishing off with the Porsche. Is that the colour of the car? There we go. Sounds pretty good. That actually sounds pretty good. fairly realistic, I would say. Little pops. Hear little pops if you listen here. And of course there were none. The white wheels do look great. There it is, a bit of pop as you go through the gears. Might be a decent screenshot, I have no idea. Excellent. Well, I'm not going to bore you with this because, as I said, there's one more car to test, and so that is what I shall do. Very quickly to end, and I won't even show you the... Actually, I might show you the replay of this, depends. Let's go ahead and test this at... I've driven around Fuji. It's nice, we have 2 British tracks, two Japanese tracks, 2 American tracks, an Italian track and an Australian track. This is going to be quite a lineup of tracks once this is complete. Let's go Brands Hatch. Old car, very old track. So I forgot to change the time of day. Oh, that... I can immediately hear a high-pitched rattling noise. That is not ideal. That is far from ideal. I also thought this would take a little longer to load than it did, and again, I was surprised. Suzuka took a little bit longer, but still, this is all now loading within seconds. The sky is definitely turning more blue. What is this car like to drive? A little bit understeery. A little bit understeery off throttle, which makes sense. Engine at the back, very lightweight at the front, comparatively. So you'd probably be wanting to be driving with... I'm not sure what the best way to drive this sort of old Porsche would be. With a little bit of power on through the corners. Those birds. Blasted birds. That is birds in Assetto Corsa. That is birds are lovely. Okay, starting to feel some of the Porsche tendencies, which is nice. Important when it is a Porsche to be able to feel the Porsche tendencies of, for example, the weight pitching forward, and because of the mass of the car, the mass over the back wheels, it wants to rotate the back of the car around as the sun comes up. Interesting, because I didn't... It says 502, but I'm not sure if... I'm trying to follow along. It looks like it's just followed directly from what the last setting was. This is a good car. This is a really good car. So far, though, I think... Actually, it's difficult to pick which one has been the best car. The NSX was quite good. This car was really good. The Lotus was good. The MX-5 was just a car designed to just have fun in. So I'm not sure which to class as the best car thus far. Obviously there are 3 more cars to try, which I might try in another video, but so the 2 Alphas, and I think there's a Maserati, if I remember correctly. The car I'm most waiting for, although I think it will be, I think if they bring it out too early it will be a disappointment, but the car I'm most waiting for is the F2002. But they, oh dear, this is going off. But they cannot bring that out. They really cannot bring that out too early. they need to ensure that they fix a number of things with the physics, the tyres and all of that before they bring the car out. Also, I think I remember reading a question somewhere. It may not have been in one of my videos, but somebody did ask, why is it the F2002 has grooved tyres? And the simple answer to that is, it had grooved tyres to slow it down. It was that fast, that generation of car was that quick that they needed grooved tyres to slow them down. I know that sounds crazy in today's Formula One day, but I should point out that if you were to put the F2002 on slick tyres, I think it would reclaim every lap record that has been taken off it and its generation of cars. I think it still has one of the lap records. Either the 2002 or the 2004 still has one of the lap records. I cannot remember which track. But if you were to put them on slicks, they would beat modern F1 machinery. That is how fast those cars were. In fact, I think some people have done it in Assetto Corsa, just trying it with a 2024 Formula One car, and then modifying the 2002 car to have slicks, to put slick tyres on it, and the speed the 2002 car can carry, because it may not be, in fact I say it may not be, it is not as powerful as a modern Formula One car, and it does not have the torque of a modern Formula One car. That much is for certain. But it weighs a good 40% less, I think. So it's 30 or 40% less than a modern Formula One car. And it has about 30% less power. But because it weighs less, less mass means less forces to contend with round corners, making it incredibly agile. Now, if you thought a modern Formula One car was agile compared to an older Formula One car, the modern Formula One cars are incredibly impressive. But the older Formula One cars, that era, the 2000s, 2002, 2004, even I think going up to about 2007, those Formula One cars were on another level of agility. If you look at those compared to the modern ones, and they were tiny, which actually leads to what I was talking about on the last track, and that is that modern Formula One tracks are designed for modern Formula One cars, and they keep saying the old tracks, oh, you cannot overtake on them and we need modern tracks. Well, I mean, the old tracks have been running for decades, so I think the problem may not be the tracks, given that they've been running for, some of them, 50, 60 years, 70 years. I think the problem might be more to do with the car than the track, but as I said, another conversation for another day. The only reason I'm mentioning anything about Formula One cars is that 2002 Ferrari that I am interested in seeing how it handles. But at this point, I think I'm going to go into the replay and look to end this video as the sun comes up. This car is quite a, I'm not even pushing it to its maximum amount, and this is quite a handful. It really is quite a handful to drive. Let's go to the replay and have a look, shall we? There we go. And at this point, I shall go through my outro. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on... Ah, that's interesting. Okay, but I do not want that. I do, however, want that screenshot, which I cannot get because I'm too... Come on, there we go. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa EVO. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think, any suggestions you might have on maybe how to improve my graphics further, or what cars you want me to try out. Do you want me to try out the licenses again? That would be interesting. I might do that off camera just for the sake of it. But at the moment I was sort of leaning away from doing anything to do with career mode. I might never do that on camera. That might just be a thing that's to do offline, if all of this is available offline to show. Not entirely certain. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. That's a terrible camera. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. Link in the description box below, as are links to my social media and Discord server. That is all from me. This Porsche looks quite nice. You can see how supple the suspension is at the back, which is interesting to see, just as it bounces around a little. But that is all from me, and I shall see you next time in Assetto Corsa EVO for some more driving, maybe some more racing, whatever it is. But certainly seeing this title gets better and better. I think I still have those 3 cars that I really need to try. That might be next time. Not sure. But I shall see you, hopefully, then.